So I have a memory of when I had a ministry in downtown Lake Oswego, if any of you are familiar with downtown Lake Oswego, and where the new City Hall is where we had our ministry, and we were there for at least 15 years. They've torn that down. It's now a beautiful new City Hall. And where we were located was right on the corner of everything. So we had an incredible bookstore. And the lawyers next door and the bankers and all the people would come in and buy our cards. I always remember this card. It was a card of 4 frogs sitting on a log. And it said, how many frogs will jump off the log and are considering it? And at the bottom it said, open the card to see. And they said there's still 5, because considering and making a decision are 2 different things. Has anyone ever considered something and then didn't follow through? So, the middle row is the group that's considering and decision making. We've been studying the 5 levels of attachment. And attachments are something, simply said, we're holding on to. We're holding on to. Now, those attachments can be something like the cup I like to drink, used on Sunday morning with little red hearts from my daughter on Mother's Day. It can be something about a belief I have, and I stand on that stubbornly, whether anyone else agrees. An attachment can be something that is so strong that we lose sight, perhaps, of what we really want in our lives. Now, we've been studying, and we're now moving through how do we come and honestly reflect on, is this really me? So the extreme judgment is conditional love. Extreme judgment where there is no reasoning. There is no conversation. I'm right, you're wrong. Now, this is not peas and corn, right? This is the big things in life. And we watch this tendency of ours to think we're right. 2 of us are right. The rest of you, oh, okay. How many of us think we are right in certain situations? And we really believe it. I mean, it's an inner feeling. I'm right about this, and you're wrong about this. Now, how do I just heard, was it Kay? Someone talking about this in the kitchen. Who's just talking about this? It is, there you are, it's Sandy. Where's Sandy? There's Sandy. I heard you talking about this in the kitchen. If I think something is right and you think it's wrong, how do we have a discussion? Is there a middle spot? It could be. There could be. I could be willing to say, this is what I think is right, but I respect that you don't agree. Can we go there? Yes. I respect that we don't agree. Now, conditional love will not move from its spot. I have watched so many families in ministry go through this, and there has been something that's happened, sometimes horrible, sometimes small, where the family members didn't agree. And one family member pulled away and said, I'll never speak to you again. And then that person dies, and there's never closure. I had that happen in my own family generations ago. I never could understand it as a child. Why won't Grandpa talk to Nani? I don't understand. Now, that didn't mean there weren't horrific things that occurred. And I'm not saying that both of their viewpoints weren't right. That's what's important to remember. For them, their viewpoint is right. And if we come to common ground, can we come there with respect? I'll always remember Paul and I traveled to India with Arun Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi's grandson. And he always loved to tell us how his grandpa was friends with everybody, people trying to kill him. He said, I forgive you. When he actually was assassinated, the words on his lips were, I forgive you. He did not hold that place of right and wrong as his standard of life. So I'm just asking us to reflect. I'm not saying that we have to change what we think if our family has gone through that kind of process. I'm not saying we need to give up our point of view. Just remember, it's our point of view. It's our perception. Now, this happens everywhere, doesn't it? This happens in the workplace. Then this happens in communities, spiritual communities. This happens in neighborhoods. People are, tearing down each other's Halloween decorations. They didn't like what they were saying with their Halloween decorations. And this is called conditional love. How do we move to unconditional love? Unconditional love is you have the right to see it your way. I have the right to see it my way. Can we respect each other and stand here? Now, I have worked with so many groups of people, and I love watching that happen. That is a sacred thing. When I can step away from something that I thought was true with all my heart and be willing to hear someone else's view. That is what moving from conditional love to unconditional love. Now, we talk about unconditional love. It just kind of rolls off our, I have that. I can do that. That's no big deal. Right. It is a big deal. Would you agree? Yes. Being able to sit at the table with someone you don't agree with. Being at a family gathering with someone you don't agree with. And our world is filled with so many choices. There are a lot of things we don't agree on as part of our world. It's just a fact of life. There's so many things. Some people don't like black. I love black. I like to wear black. Other people only wear blah, blah. I don't know. But a lot of things in my closet are black and white, and just a little blue or red. And someone else doesn't do that, or someone else wears this. It's not about what you wear. It's not about it is our authentic self. Now, remember, that's where we started 4 weeks ago. Who is my authentic self? My spiritual self. My spiritual self is not condemning another person for the way they think or the way they believe. It's the person, the personality that does that. So when we move from that strong condemnation and judgment, Don Miguel Ruiz calls it extreme. When we are extreme in our belief that this person, this situation, this event is wrong, we are hurting ourselves. Conditional love hurts us more than it hurts anyone else. So when we then can move to internalization and begin to reflect, where did I get that opinion? Where did that stem from? Why do I think that way? Is that the only way to think? One of my classmates in ministerial school would always use, almost every time she gave a talk, she would use this example of going to neutral. Can we go to neutral? Can we just, in our minds, go, oh, okay, I'm not going forwards, I'm not going back, I'm going to go to neutral. I'm just going to stop my thoughts. I'm just going to stop the way I think. Extreme resentment, judgment is usually based on fear. And our fear is what's stopping us from being our authentic self. It's not about anybody else. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. So when I am willing to move beyond those ideas, and when I am willing to let go, we talk about letting go in unity all the time. What on earth is it that I am letting go of? So just think right now. What are you willing to let go of? Condemnation, opinion, resentment, judgment. Now, it doesn't have to happen today. I'm a person who journals. I write about it. If you're an artist, go home and draw about it. Go home and walk outside in nature and just breathe in that calming energy. What is it that helps me reflect? What is stopping? Remember, our goal is our authentic self. It's not about anyone else. It's our authentic self. Our authentic self is not a person who holds extreme judgment. That's not you. You weren't created that way. It happened over time. From circumstances and people that happened. We've all had individual stories. And our spirit yearns for us to take the step into our authentic self. Our spirit draws us. That's why we're here. We're yearning. It's like we're hungry. Would you agree? 3 people, please. Just 3. That's all I need is 3. Please. We are yearning to be our authentic self. And then we've got this costume we wear. We have a mask we wear that we put out to the world that says, I know best. Anyone else? Hand on your hip. I know what's best. And then we divide ourselves. We separate ourselves. And then we're in pain. I don't know why they don't like me. We know we're not being our authentic self. You know, it's true. People can read us. You know this. People can read whether we're being our authentic self or not. It's embarrassing. I have to tell you that. I'm up in front of people all the time, and I know that they can see if I'm being authentic or not. People say, wow, you're so comfortable. Well, I've gotten used to being in front of people and saying things that are self-reflective. I share with you. So this brings us back. If we're going to our authentic self, we go back to the 4 agreements. And this is who we want to be. We want to be impeccable. Let's do it together. We want to be impeccable with our word. And when we're not, we come back and we say, oh, I forgot, I apologize. Or we make amends. Over and over in my life, I have had to go back and make amends for things I said, things I did, things I was immature about. Not me, really, true. And what courage does it take to make amends? A lot. And it is so freeing. It is the biggest freedom you can have. So, being impeccable with my word, honestly, I can say many times I wasn't. I always tried to go back and clean that up and make amends. So breathe into, I am impeccable with my word. Say that to yourself. I am impeccable with my word. And the next one is, who remembers? This is the one I can admit I struggle with. Don't take anything personally. Oh, I love to take it personally. And then I'm right and you're wrong and I can be upset. Oh, there goes the cycle, right? Don't take anything personally. It's all about them. I am my authentic self. Next, who knows what's the next one? This is a hard one. Don't make assumptions. Ring the bell. Assumptions. Anyone here good at making assumptions? Oh, yes, we're awake. Okay, good. Who makes assumptions? I do. Now, I love it. Dick pointed at Sue, his wife. Now, isn't that good? Because we like to say it's him or her. It's them. They're the ones who do that. I know that was planned, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. And Susan isn't upset at all. Oh, I know she's not. She didn't take it personally, right? And the last one is always do your best. Do we really think when we are so angry, judgmental, and have distorted perceptions, we're doing our best? Is that my best? No. Isn't it wonderful? The book says when you can accept you need to change is the first step. When you can accept it's time to go to neutral. When you can accept that your fear is like a barricade to your freedom. It's all about acceptance. It isn't about something that is impossible. It's about something you know how to do. You know how to overcome that which is standing in your way because you put it there. No one else did. Once again, please. There's a story about a man and woman going into a restaurant, and they'd heard great things about this restaurant. Great food, great, service. And so they went to the front door. They opened the door. They were greeted wonderfully by a person in service. They were taken to a table kind of farther back, and they sat there and excuse me. And they sat there. And they started to get upset. And they started to be frustrated. And why is no one coming? And finally, someone brought a glass of water and just walked away. And no one said anything. They were furious. They were going to write, they were going to go on the internet and make a comment. 0, not 5. And they got up. Huffily, pushed in their chairs, started to walk towards the door, turned a corner, and there was a huge buffet. And that's life. We're sitting at the table, we're ticked. Things didn't work out my way. No one cares about me. No one takes my order. And here's the buffet. But we had to leave that table. That table of resentment, judgment, fear, whatever you label it, it's your table. You picked it. And I'm with you as well as everybody else on the planet. And so now I can leave that table and I can go to the buffet. Now, I hope there's lobster there. That'd be on my buffet. But you can choose what's on your buffet. You can choose your life, your authentic self. Now, Paul and I were in St. Maxima in France about 20 plus years ago. And we had gone to see the basilica where St. Mary, what they call Mary Magdalene, not Mary Magdalene, is her remains are. And every king and queen in Europe have made the journey, not necessarily photographed, but have made the journey to that basilica. And it's humongous, humongous, humongous. And we get there, and they say, we're closing for lunch in 10 minutes. Now, we have gone out of our, hundreds of miles, all the way to the coast on France, because Paul was so willing to take me to this beautiful place. And Paul's sister was with us, and we just look at each other. And the lady says to us, there's a restaurant right across the street. Just go there and come back in an hour and a half. So that sounded like a good idea. It was St. Maxima is a town. It's not a huge city. And so we were able to just walk across to this outdoor restaurant and sit down. And someone brought us a glass of water, and we sat there. And we sat there, and we didn't see any buffet. And we just sat there and sat there and sat there. Now, we're getting really hungry by this time, and we're ready for something to happen. And, of course, I'm kind of instigating. You would understand that, right? I was saying to Betty, you should go find out what's going on. Or Paul should be the one, right, to go find. Neither one of them would move. Victoria gets up. I think I see someone that kind of looks like a waitress. And people are eating all around us. And we're just sitting there. Well, I went up, and this woman, who was obviously a waitress, was carrying bins of dirty dishes. And I just said, excuse me. And of course, I didn't speak French, but she understood what I was saying. Why are these people eating and we haven't been served? Well, you're sitting in the area where you bring your own lunch. What? Nowhere in America do you go to a restaurant and bring your own lunch. It was just, and if you sit over here, we'd be glad to serve you. Obviously, we moved. We had a great lunch. We went to the basilica, and the rest is history. However, it was about movement, and it's about moving our thoughts, our ideas, our consciousness, our attitudes, our whatever it is, to neutral, and to be willing to go to the buffet or wherever the food is, or where you can be your authentic self. So we're going to go into some quiet time now. Just breathe into this. I like to use stories that are small to look at big picture, because this is life-changing that we are talking about. This is about changing my life, changing my opinions, my attitudes, taking accountability for my regrets, making amends, whatever is necessary to be in a place of acceptance, not blame. I accept myself. I accept myself. Please say that to yourself gently. I accept myself. With all my ideas and beliefs, I accept myself, and I can change. And I can change. We ask for guidance. We ask for support as we choose our new way. Our new path. And we know that as we make these new choices, as we move from judgment, criticism, defensiveness, as we move to that place of neutrality, the universe rushes, and supports us. The love, the light, the energy that we are seeking is here now. And as a ministry, we also claim this. The past is in the past. The future lies ahead. And we are in the now moment, filled with grace, compassion, and light. And so it is. In the name of light, love, and joy. Amen. Amen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your willingness. Thank you for your willingness to go to the buffet today. We do have a lot of goodies, I'm just saying.